Hey, this is the Innovator of Violence, Tommy Dreamer, and you're listening to CNY Podcast, giving you all your podcasting wrestling experience to the extreme.
Welcome, everybody, to the second edition of the CNY Wrestles podcast. And there you hear it, folks. Tommy Dreamer, who I happened to run into this weekend at the Philadelphia Keystone Comic Con. And let me tell you, this Comic Con, folks, was absolutely spectacular. Let me start at the beginning. This is Michael Jones Bilodeau, your host, coming to you live from Syracuse, New York. And yeah, I'm coming off a pretty exhausting weekend at the Philadelphia Keystone Comic Con. Let me just tell you something about this Comic Con. We have some Comic Cons here in Syracuse, the Salt City Comic Con and the Syracuse Comic Con. But let me tell you, the scale of the Keystone Comic Con in Philadelphia compared to what we're used to here in Syracuse was off the chain. This convention center was huge. The room itself had to be the size of maybe 2 super Walmarts, just to give you some scale. And there were tons and tons of comic book artists. They were drawing, they were signing autographs, signing comic books, tons and tons of vendors, t-shirts, pops, anything you could imagine was for sale at this convention. Just so many great artists and so many great pieces of artwork that you could pick up. And of course, the reason I went, and I dragged my husband and our 2 dear friends with us, was to meet some wrestlers. And let me tell you, I was completely surprised by the amount of wrestlers and wrestling personalities that were at this convention. We knew going in that we bought autograph tickets and photo op tickets for Daniel Bryan, WWE champion AJ Styles, and former Divas champion Nikki Bella. And we met them and we got our picture taken with them and got our autographs. Let me tell you how nice Nikki Bella is. She welcomed us into the photo op booth with a hug, all 4 of us. So nice, so gracious. It's just nice seeing that. It's so nice feeling that, knowing that you paid all this money to meet these people and they took the time to be nice instead of just standing there and taking a picture and saying bye and thank you. It was a hug. She genuinely cared about the people she was meeting. She took the time to say hi and ask where we were from, and it was just nice. It was a nice feeling. It was a nice feeling knowing that she actually cared. And let me tell you about nice. Daniel effin' Bryan is possibly the nicest person on earth, and you could tell he's the nicest person on earth by the character he plays on TV. It's not a character. That's him. When we met him, he was just so genuinely nice. Can't say so much of the same for AJ Styles. It seemed like and genuinely, I know he's probably tired. He's traveling all over the place defending the title, and he's got a big match coming up tonight with Samoa Joe at Hell in a Cell. He wasn't as friendly as the others. He was nice enough, but I expected a little more of a "Hey, how you doing?" conversation. He just wanted to sign the autographs and get people moving in and out, which I understand. These things can be tiring for them too. But they weren't the only ones there. Those are the ones that were sponsored by the Keystone Con. They're the ones that were brought in for the expensive autograph and photo opportunities. But there were a couple tables, special tables, that we didn't really know about. And we walked into the convention about 10 o'clock Friday, and I saw a wrestling ring set up. House of Hardcore was there, performing some matches during the convention. So we walked around the ring, and there at a table was Jim Cornette, possibly one of the greatest wrestling managers. Not possibly, he is one of the greatest wrestling managers of all time. And he plays this character. He's loud, he's obnoxious. That's him. But he was super nice, and he recorded one of our intros that you'll probably hear on the next podcast. And then next to his table was Tommy Dreamer, and they were talking to each other, and I interrupted them to get an autograph, of course. Tommy Dreamer was especially nice, and you heard him at the beginning of his podcast. He agreed to record that intro, which I am forever grateful for. And he just took the time to do that. It was really special. I was very proud of that. I'm very, very honored that he took the time to do that for me. So we were walking around the rest of the convention, and of course we always would come back to the wrestling side of things, because there's only so much comic book art you can look at. So we swung back, and out of nowhere, there is James Ellsworth. Yes, no chin music himself. And let me tell you something about James Ellsworth. He loves talking to his fans. He sat there and talked to us for a good 5 minutes. It was just a pleasure to see that, And he gave us a T-shirt when we paid for an autograph and a picture. So it was like $30, and you got his picture and an autograph, and he gave you a T-shirt with the saying that says #rehire Ellsworth. And totally agree with that. I mean, Ellsworth should be on the main stage. I even told him himself, why are you not on Raw? And James also recorded us an intro, which you'll hear in a couple weeks here on the podcast. It was just a good weekend. And that wasn't it. We came, after walking around, we came back, and me and my friend Anthony, we were walking around, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we see Jerry the King Lawler. And I shit you not, I think my heart stopped, or at least skipped a couple beats. Had no idea Jerry was going to be there. Had no idea that we'd be able to get his autograph and meet him. But we walked up to him and in stunned disbelief, just said hi. And I there's no words. I met Jerry the King Lawler. That to me, didn't expect it, and it's a once in a lifetime kind of deal. I couldn't believe that I was shaking his hand. I was getting a picture with him, getting his autograph. I just got a little emotional talking about it. It was a great weekend, and that wasn't the last wrestler that we saw. Saturday, the second day of the con, we came back, and the table that James Ellsworth was at was Brodus Clay. To be honest, I don't know what name he's going by now. You might know him from Netflix, from the show Glow. He plays one of the trainers, and the brother of Karma's character. I didn't get his autograph. I didn't take my picture with Brodus Clay, and not to knock Brodus Clay, but after spending so much money on the other autographs, I just kind of looked at him and said, no, I don't need to do this right now. And I'm glad I didn't, because we walked around the corner from him, went back to the House of Hardcore table where Tommy Dreamer was stationed with the House of Hardcore guys. And there was Bully Ray. I mean, how could you not run to Bully Ray when you see him at a convention? And that's kind of exactly what we did. We got his autograph, got his picture. The guy is so nice. Absolutely the opposite of what he plays on TV. And the man's a Hall of Famer. I mean, Bubba Ray Dudley in the WWE Hall of Fame. So fitting. He belongs there. He's just one of those guys that it captivates you whenever you watch him on wrestling. So it's a good place for him, and he really appreciated talking to his fans. So it was a good feeling. It was a great weekend. And there were some comic books there too, which we looked at. But I mean, we were there for the wrestlers. There's no doubt about it, and they knew it. But we're just the scope of that Comic Con itself. If you haven't ever been to a Keystone Comic Con event, you need to go. You need to check one of these out. It's impressive. And the Keystone Comic Con staff was so friendly and so efficient. They had this running like a fine engine. And let me tell you, just to keep all the people moving in and out to get these autographs and photo ops, and the ease they showed doing it is so impressive. I mean, our local Salt City Comic Con can take a few lessons from the Keystone Comic Con people. I even, recommended the Keystone Comic Con to bring their event somewhat closer to Syracuse. Obviously, they're not going to come here because they enjoy going to bigger markets like Philly and Boston and some of the other big cities that don't already have a major Comic Con in them. So yeah, I mean, enough about the Comic Con. It was a thrilling experience for me and my friend Anthony, and I mean even my husband and our friend Katie, who was with us as well. They had a good time. Uh, it was just an experience, and I can't say anything more about it because it was just awesome. So it's Sunday morning, September the 16th. We're coming up on Hell in a Cell, WWE's Hell in a Cell. I don't know. I've got some mixed feelings about Hell in a Cell this year. Excited to see AJ Styles and Samoa Joe one more time. I kind of feel like it should have been in a Hell in a Cell match, but maybe they're still building up to one more match, probably at Survivor Series or TLC, whatever else is coming up. Um, and Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton are actually going to be in the Hell in a Cell, and I feel like they're not. Their storyline isn't there. It shouldn't be in Hell in a Cell. I mean, maybe the WWE creative feels they need that gimmick to be part of their match to get it a little more interesting. I don't know. I don't feel like they're ready. Their story is ready to go into Hell in a Cell just yet. I'm hoping Samoa Joe will come out of the night as WWE champion, even though I think AJ Styles has been doing a phenomenal job as champion. But I think it's time for Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe's a legend in wrestling, and he really deserves to be the top guy. Oh, and going back to Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton, I honestly do not care who wins this match. I feel like both characters need some kind of shakeup. Jeff Hardy is back to his old ways before he left WWE, that, happy-go-lucky, like a daredevil. It's not working anymore. It's not him anymore. And Randy Orton, he's just so stale. He was such a good heel when Legacy formed, 5-10 years ago. But I feel like he's just kind of spinning his wheels right now, and I don't know. They need to do something with both guys, and maybe SmackDown isn't the answer for Jeff Hardy. Maybe he should be on Raw with Matt Hardy in the Broken Universe. And the other Hell in a Cell match tonight is Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Braun Strowman. I don't know. This to me is just it's like 2 years ago recycled, and I feel like Braun should still be the face in this feud, and maybe they should have finally turned Roman. It's just, I don't know. And Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler and The Shield haven't really added anything to this feud that, I don't know, man. I just feel like WWE right now, their storylines need a complete overhaul, complete shakeup. It's just not working for me. Honestly, I believe Roman's probably going to retain. But if they want to get things interesting, maybe Braun will win and Roman will win it back in Australia in a couple weeks. Jeez, and the undercard on this, guys, I'm just totally not feeling it. But of course, I'm going to watch it and I'll talk about it on the next podcast, the results and how the cards shaked up, and the Raw and SmackDown afterward. I don't know. I just got to be honest. The storylines on WWE right now are not doing it for me. I mean, it's been like this for most of the year anyway. Things have just gotten boring. They don't know how to create storylines. I mean, the only thing right now that's anything interesting is AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, and the way Joe's going after his family. It's not the most creative storyline, but it creates drama and tension, and I don't know. It's just, everything just seems off. Even when it comes to casting, like the bad guys and the good guys, Charlotte Flair makes a tremendous heel, and why they turned Becky into a heel going into the storyline, I still have trouble with. And I mean, they've kind of went back on the Becky heel turn. It's not so much that she's doing heel things, it's just that she's doing things that a hero wouldn't necessarily do, kind of like a Steve Austin character, which could be interesting if they pull it off right and they go somewhere with it. But I feel like once Charlotte beats her in their match, it's just going to go back to the old ways, and Charlotte will move on, and they'll start building toward her and Ronda at WrestleMania, hopefully.